Welcome back to Learn with Professor Janula. If you're a nursing student, this channel is just for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Today, we're learning about the functions of placenta. So go ahead, subscribe, and let's get started. Imagine the placenta as the baby's personal life support system during pregnancy. It is a temporary organ that develops only when a woman becomes pregnant. Now think about this. The baby cannot eat or breathe on its own inside the womb. So how does it survive? That is where the placenta helps. It acts like a connection between the mother and the baby, supplying oxygen, nutrients, and all the important things the baby needs to grow healthy and strong. At the same time, it also carries away waste products from the baby's body. So we can say that the placenta works continuously throughout pregnancy to protect, nourish, and support the baby's growth and development. The placenta is like a special connection between the mother and the baby during pregnancy. Think about it. The baby inside the womb cannot eat or breathe on its own, right? So how does the baby get everything it needs? The placenta helps by sending oxygen and nutrients from the mother to the baby. At the same time, it also takes away waste products from the baby's body. And here's an interesting point. Even though all this exchange happens, the mother's blood and the baby's blood do not directly mix together. So we can simply say the placenta works like a bridge and a protective filter between the mother and the baby. Now let's talk about the structure of the placenta. The placenta is made up of two parts. One part comes from the baby, called the fetal part, or chorion frondosum, and the other part comes from the mother, called the maternal part, or decidua basalis. So basically, both the mother and baby together help form the placenta. The placenta is connected to the baby through the umbilical cord, which acts like a lifeline, carrying oxygen and nutrients to the baby and taking away waste products. Normally, the placenta weighs around 500 to 600 grams by the end of pregnancy. And if you look at its shape, it is called discoid, which simply means it looks like a round, flat disc. Next, let's look at the function of the placenta, the respiratory function. We all know the baby inside the womb cannot breathe through the lungs like we do after birth, right? So how does the baby get oxygen? The placenta does that job. In fact, we can say the placenta acts like the lungs of the fetus. It takes oxygen from the mother's blood and sends it to the baby through the umbilical cord. At the same time, carbon dioxide and waste gases from the baby are carried back to the mother's blood for removal. So this function is very important because it helps the baby survive, grow, and carry out normal body activities inside the womb. Now let's talk about the nutritive function of the placenta. The baby inside the womb cannot eat food directly, so how does it get nutrition for growth? The placenta helps by supplying all the important nutrients from the mother to the baby. These nutrients include glucose for energy, amino acids for bodybuilding, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and even water. All these are necessary for the baby's healthy growth and development. The transfer happens through different mechanisms like diffusion, active transport, and pinocytosis. Don't worry too much about the complicated names. The main idea is that the placenta has special ways to move nutrients safely from the mother's body to the baby. So we can say the placenta works like the baby's food supply system during pregnancy. Now let's understand the excretory function of the placenta. Just like our body produces waste products after using food and energy, the baby inside the womb also produces waste materials. But the baby cannot remove these wastes on its own. So what happens? The placenta helps remove them. Waste products like urea, uric acid, creatinine, and bilirubin are transferred from the baby to the mother's blood through the placenta. Then the mother's kidneys remove these wastes from the body. So, we can say the placenta acts like a cleaning system for the baby, helping keep the baby healthy inside the womb. Now let's talk about the endocrine function of the placenta. Besides helping in nutrition and waste removal, the placenta also works like an endocrine gland because it produces important hormones during pregnancy. These hormones help maintain a healthy pregnancy and support the growth of the baby. For example, HCG helps maintain the early stages of pregnancy, progesterone helps continue and support the pregnancy, and estrogen helps the uterus grow as the baby develops. Another hormone, human placental lactogen or HPL, helps prepare the mother's breasts for breastfeeding after delivery. Relaxin helps soften the pelvic ligaments, which becomes important during childbirth. So we can say the placenta is not just a connection between the mother and baby, but also a hormone-producing organ that supports the entire pregnancy. Now, let's understand the protective function of the placenta. The placenta not only supplies food and oxygen to the baby, but it also helps protect the baby inside the womb. It acts like a partial barrier, stopping many harmful substances from reaching the fetus. Another important role is that it transfers maternal antibodies, especially IgG, from the mother to the baby. These antibodies help give the baby passive immunity, which means some protection against infections after birth. But the placenta is not a complete barrier. Certain harmful substances like alcohol, nicotine, some drugs, and infections can still cross through the placenta and affect the baby. So this is why a healthy lifestyle during pregnancy is very important for the baby's safety and development. Now let's look at the storage function of the placenta. The placenta not only transfers nutrients to the baby, but it can also store some important substances for later use. It stores glycogen, which acts like an energy reserve, iron, which is needed for blood formation, and fat-soluble vitamins that help in the baby's growth and development. These stored nutrients can be used whenever the baby needs them during pregnancy. So, we can say the placenta also works like a small storage center that supports the healthy growth of the fetus. Now let's understand the metabolic function of the placenta. The placenta is not just a passage between the mother and baby. It is also very active in producing and processing important substances needed for the baby's growth. It can synthesize substances like glycogen, fatty acids, and cholesterol, which are important for energy, bodybuilding, and development. The placenta also takes part in many enzymatic activities that help support the baby's growth inside the womb. So we can say the placenta works like a small metabolic factory that helps the fetus develop properly during pregnancy. Finally, let's talk about the immunological function of the placenta. Normally, our immune system removes anything that looks foreign to the body. But during pregnancy, the baby has genetic material from both the mother and father, so the mother's body could recognize the fetus as different. So how does the baby stay safe inside the womb? The placenta helps by maintaining an immunological balance between the mother and the fetus. It prevents the mother's immune system from rejecting the baby and helps the pregnancy continue normally. So, we can say the placenta acts like a protective mediator that keeps peace between the mother's body and the growing baby. Now let's understand placental circulation in a simple way. There are two types of circulation involved: maternal circulation and fetal circulation. In maternal circulation, the mother's blood enters the intervillous spaces of the placenta through the uterine arteries. This blood brings oxygen and nutrients needed for the baby. In fetal circulation, the baby's blood reaches the placenta through the umbilical arteries. Here, the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste products takes place. After receiving oxygen and nutrients, the purified blood returns back to the baby through the umbilical vein. So, the placenta works like an exchange center where the mother and baby continuously share important substances for the baby's growth and survival. So, to conclude, the placenta is a very important organ during pregnancy because it helps the baby grow and survive inside the womb. It performs many functions like supplying oxygen and nutrients, removing waste products, producing hormones, protecting the baby, storing important substances, and supporting metabolism. It also helps maintain a healthy connection between the mother and the baby throughout pregnancy. So, we can say that proper functioning of the placenta is essential for both the mother's health and the healthy development of the baby. That's the end of this video. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more nursing learning videos. Thank you for watching, and keep learning.